Tonight, let us drift into the forgotten echoes of time, a world where divine women were not just mortal but celestial mirrors of the sacred. They were mothers of creation, guardians of fertility, keepers of wisdom, and weavers of dreams. In the quiet of the night, their stories rise again, soft as candlelight in a darkened temple. We shall wander through deserts, forests, rivers, and sanctuaries where goddesses were honored, and where their symbols whispered of love, protection, and eternal cycles of life. As your body sinks deeper into rest, let these gentle tales of ancient cults and divine women soothe your soul and carry you on soft winds towards sleep. If these stories bring you comfort, consider subscribing for more journeys into ancient myth, and perhaps share in the comments where in the world you are listening from tonight. So together, we weave a tapestry of dreamers across the earth. The night is still. A gentle hush settles across the world, like a veil of velvet spread across the stars. You are safe here, listening, drifting, resting. Far away in time, long before cities rose, long before words were written, there were small fires burning in caves and open fields. Around those fires sat women and men, children and elders, huddled close against the quiet of the night.
Their voices were soft.
Their stories were simple. Their prayers were shaped like whispers to the sky, to the earth, and to something greater that seemed to breathe through every living thing. And in those early days, before the noise of the ages, there was one presence that was felt above all, the presence of the Mother, the Great Mother, the Divine Feminine, who held life the way the earth holds seeds, who gave milk as the rivers give water, who nourished as the sun gives warmth. You may picture her now, not as one face, but as many. She is a figure carved in stone, small enough to fit in the palm of a hand. She's etched in clay, round and generous with curves that speak of life and birth. She is drawn in the sand, in circles and spirals, symbols of eternity. Her image is simple, but her meaning is endless. The people of those ancient nights did not know her as one goddess with one name. Instead, they knew her as life itself, as the breath in the fields, the rhythm of the seasons, the mystery that caused the seed to sprout and the child to be born. She was everywhere. She was everything. And so the story of the Divine Feminine begins, not with temples, not with scriptures, but with hands shaping clay, with songs sung under the moon, with quiet hearts turning to the Mother for comfort and strength. Imagine the world as it was then. The stars above stretched wider than imagination, filling the sky like an ocean of light. There were no walls to block them, no city lights to drown them out. Every night was a canvas of infinity, and each star was a spark of mystery. Beneath those stars, the earth was vast, open, alive. Forests spread in deep green waves. Rivers wound like silver threads through valleys. Animals moved softly across the land. And among all this, human beings began to wonder. They began to feel awe. When a woman carried life within her, it seemed a miracle too great to understand. How could a body hold another body? How could breath be given to breath? To them, this was the holiest of mysteries. It was creation itself. And so the Mother became the first symbol of divinity, for she carried within her the secret of beginnings. The earth was seen in the same way. She carried seeds in her soil. She gave birth to trees, to flowers, to grains that fed the people. The earth nourished them, just as the mother nourished her child. To eat was to receive her gift. To drink was to sip from her endless flow. This was the dawn of the Divine Feminine, not an idea in the mind, but a presence in the heart, not a figure high above, but a spirit woven into every touch of soil, every drop of water, every cradle of arms. Softly, you may picture a cave deep in the hills. Inside, by flickering firelight, hands press pigment onto stone. Shapes appear, spirals, circles, figures of women with wide hips and strong curves. These are not decorations, they are prayers. They are symbols of the one who gives. Each image is a way of saying thank you. Each carving is a way of asking for her blessing. Outside, the moon rises. Its roundness mirrors the roundness of the Mother. Its cycles mirror the cycles of life. To the people, the moon was her face, gentle and watchful. When the moon disappeared into darkness, they believed the Mother had gone into the unseen, only to return again, glowing, renewed. The waxing and waning of the moon became her heartbeat in the sky. And so, by moonlight and firelight, the Great Mother was honored. She needed no name, for she was everywhere. She needed no crown, for she was already life itself. The years moved like rivers, slow and steady. Tribes traveled, seasons turned, yet the mother remained constant as breath. In every land her presence was felt in different forms. Some saw her as a bird, wings outstretched across the heavens. Some saw her as a serpent, curling through the earth's hidden places. Some saw her as a tree, roots deep, branches wide, bearing fruit for all. Always she was life, always she was renewal. Always she was the circle without end. In this early dawn, punishment was not her way. Her story was not of fear, but of nourishment. She was not distant, but close. She was the soft soil under bare feet, the warm milk that eased hunger, the gentle hand that soothed a child to sleep. Imagine resting by the side of a river at dusk. You feel the cool air move against your skin. You hear the water whisper over smooth stones. In that sound is her voice, low, steady, endless. It says, "You are safe. You belong. You are held." Archaeologists, long centuries later, would uncover the figures carved from stone, the clay goddesses buried in earth, the paintings hidden in caves. They would call them Venus figurines. To those who made them, they were not objects, but sacred shapes. They were carried as charms. They were placed in homes. They were left at gravesides. They were gifts to the unseen. These figures, small and silent, carried the first prayers of humanity. Their rounded forms told the story of abundance. Their stillness told the story of eternity. They were the mother's reflection, shaped by human hands, kissed by human hope. And as you listen now, imagine holding such a figure in your hand. Feel the weight of stone smooth with age. See the simple curves carved not with precision, but with love. It is more than an image. It is a bridge between human hearts and the mystery of life itself. The divine feminine was not only creation, but balance. She was both softness and strength. She was both womb and tomb, both birth and rest. For just as she gave life, she also welcomed it home when life ended. Death, too, was part of her circle. Yet in death there was no fear, only a return, a rejoining with the mother who never ceased to hold her children. The soil that received the body gave birth again to flowers. The tree that fell gave warmth as fire. The child who passed was believed to return, carried again in the endless rhythm of life. The mother was never-ending. She was the circle of being. This belief brought comfort. It softened grief. It made the unknown gentle. It told the people nothing is lost. All returns, all is held. And so the dawn of the divine feminine spread slowly, silently across the world. It whispered in Africa, where the first humans danced under stars. It whispered in Europe, where hands carved stone. It whispered in Asia, where rivers flowed like veins of the earth. Wherever humans walked, they felt her presence. Wherever they rested, they honored her name, even if no name was spoken. She was the breath of creation. She was the first prayer. She was the dawn. Now as you lie in your own stillness, you may feel echoes of this ancient reverence. The earth beneath you holds you the way it held them. The stars above you shine as they shone for them. The cycles of moon and season continue, soft and steady, just as they always have. You are part of this circle. You are a child of the mother, cradled in her endless embrace. You are safe in her rhythm, soothed by her silence. So let your breath become slow. Let your thoughts become soft. Let your spirit feel the gentle arms of the divine feminine around you, as she has held every soul since the first dawn. The fire is dim now. The river is quiet. The stars return. The story rests, but it does not end. It circles on endlessly. Now drift onward, into the night, into peace, into sleep. The night is wide and still. Moonlight shimmers upon slow waters, painting silver ripples across the ancient Nile. Soft winds stir the reeds, their tall stalks whispering secrets to the river. In the hush of this eternal landscape, you drift, safe, quiet, at ease. The Nile flows endlessly, as it has for thousands of years. Its currents are steady, its presence unbroken. The river is more than water. It is memory. It is breath. It is the pulse of Egypt's spirit. Here under a canopy of stars, two sacred mothers rise from the flow of time, Isis and Hathor. Names spoken like gentle songs, figures of protection, of music, of love. Their stories shimmer in the night like torches reflected on water. Imagine now a village resting by the Nile. The air smells of fresh silt carried by the floods. Clay jars line the walls of mud brick homes. Children sleep, their dreams wrapped in the night's calm. Mothers hum lullabies, soft as the river's current. And above all, unseen yet ever-present, the goddesses watch. Isis, the mother of magic, the protector of families, walks silently in the shadows of palms. Her wings spread wide, vast as the horizon. Her eyes are deep pools reflecting compassion. She bends close to the hearts of those who pray, whispering strength into weary souls. Hathor, radiant with music and joy, dances in the moonlight. Her golden crown gleams with the sun's memory. From her hands fall gentle notes, unseen songs that soothe the spirit. She is laughter and comfort. She is the soft embrace of love. The Nile is their temple. Its waters their hymns. Its reeds their prayers. To the ancient people, life began with the river. Each year, the floods returned like breath itself, spilling fertile soil across the land. Fields awoke with grain. Fruit ripened in orchards. Villages thrived in the abundance. It was the mother's gift, wrapped in water and light. And so Isis was seen in the rising tide. She was the hand that lifted the river. She was the one who gave plenty, who turned dry ground into bread. When families ate, they felt her presence in every mouthful. When babies cried, her spirit calmed them. Her magic was not distant, it was woven into daily life. Hathor was there in the music of festivals, when drums echoed across villages, when dancers spun in circles, when flutes sang at dawn. She was the one moving through the rhythm. She was the joy in harvest celebrations, the smile in the songs of workers, the laughter in the play of children. Where joy was, there was Hathor. Picture the temples that rose by the riverbanks, columns tall as palm groves, walls carved with delicate images, the scent of incense drifting upward, priests moving in slow procession, carrying flowers, oil, bread. Inside, the statues of Isis and Hathor glowed in the dim light, touched by flickering flame. But the people did not only find them in temples. They found them in the rhythm of life itself, in the harvest, in the song, in the embrace of mother and child. The sacred was never far away. Isis carried another story, one whispered for ages. She was the faithful wife of Osiris, the god who ruled the afterlife. When he was torn apart, scattered like seeds across the land, Isis searched tirelessly. She gathered his pieces. She wept rivers of grief. She spoke words of magic. And with her breath she restored him, bringing life from death. This myth, tender and eternal, held deep comfort. It told the people that love was stronger than loss. It told them that even in death, there was return, there was wholeness. It told them that the mother never abandoned her children. And Hathor, too, carried her own gentle story. In some tales, she was the eye of the sun, fierce with fire. But when her fury cooled, she became the Lady of Joy, bringing music, wine, and dance. She was the golden cow, mother to all, whose milk nourished gods and humans alike. Her presence was soft, fertile, overflowing with kindness. Picture her now, her wide eyes shining with warmth. She is adorned with a crown shaped like the sun, cradled between horns. She radiates abundance. She glows with comfort. When people called upon Hathor, they were calling upon joy itself. They were calling upon the music of life, the sweetness that made living beautiful. The Nile's waters reflected these mothers. When the river glimmered in moonlight, it was Isis's veil. When it sparkled in sunlight, it was Hathor's smile. The river carried their stories to every village, every field, every ear that listened in the stillness of night. Farmers prayed as they planted seed. Mothers prayed as they cradled newborns. Singers prayed as they lifted their voices to the sky. And in each prayer, Isis and Hathor were present. Gentle, eternal, listening. Now drift with the river. See how the stars shimmer above it. Hear the reeds moving softly in the night air. Every sound is a lullaby. Every ripple is a blessing. Isis spreads her wings across the waters. Her feathers brush the surface, leaving trails of light. She whispers to the river, "Protect them, nourish them, carry them safely." The current bends, obeying her voice. Hathor dances upon the waves. Her bracelets chime like bells. Her feet touch the water yet leave no ripple. She sings, and her voice is carried by the breeze, filling the night with calm. Between them, the river becomes a cradle. The people rest, rocked by its eternal flow. The story of Isis is also a story of motherhood. She is the mother of Horus, the falcon god, who would grow to be a protector of kings. But in the beginning he was only a child, fragile and small, resting in her arms. She hid him in the marshes, concealed by reeds, safe from harm. The world was dangerous, but her embrace was stronger. Every mother who cradled her child felt this same spirit. Every lullaby was her lullaby. Every hand that soothed a fever carried her magic. Isis was not only goddess, she was presence, comfort, protection. And so the people painted her with wings outspread, kneeling by the head of the coffin, by the side of the bed, by the altar of prayer. Always close, always listening, always loving. Hathor's joy, too, was felt in small moments.
The taste of honey.
The sound of laughter, the softness of music carried by the wind. She was present in beauty. She was present in tenderness. She was the gentle thread that wove life into a tapestry of delight. Imagine a festival in her honor.
The sun is bright.
Garlands of flowers hang across doorways. Music echoes through the streets. Drums pulse like a heartbeat. Flutes carry notes high into the air. Wine flows, laughter rises. And at the center of it all, Hathor's spirit shines, radiant and kind. But when the festival fades, when the drums quiet, when silence returns, she remains. In the stillness of night, in the quiet of breath, in the hush of dreams, there too is Hathor, a soft presence, a comforting smile. The Nile carried these stories from one generation to the next. Children listened, eyes heavy with sleep, as elders spoke of Isis and Hathor. They listened by firelight, by riverbank, by temple gate. And as the stories drifted into their ears, they also drifted into their hearts, into their dreams. These goddesses were not far away. They were near. They were mothers, protectors, companions in the rhythm of life. Now let your own breath become as steady as the river. Let your thoughts flow as softly as its waters. You are carried as the people were carried by the gentle current of the Nile. You are held as they were held in the arms of Isis, in the embrace of Hathor. The night grows deeper. The stars shine brighter. The world is wrapped in their comfort. You are safe. You are cherished. You are protected. The Nile continues its song, endless and serene. Its waters move yet never end. Its flow is eternal, as is the love of the sacred mothers. Isis watches with wings wide. Hathor smiles with radiant joy. Together they soothe the night. Together they cradle every dream. Now rest as the river rests. Now sleep as the stars return. The goddesses watch. The night is kind. The story flows on quietly, endlessly. Let us drift onward, into stillness, into peace, into sleep. The night is deep. The stars are scattered across the dark sky like grains of silver. A soft wind moves, carrying the hush of ancient deserts. You rest, and the stillness of the world gathers around you. Far back in time, when Sumerian voices rose like smoke into the heavens, there was a goddess whose name echoed across temples and cities. She was called Inanna, queen of the heavens, radiant in light, clothed in beauty, crowned with stars. She was the morning and evening star. She was love, and she was power. She was the goddess of life itself. But one story, whispered in clay tablets and sung by priests in slow chant, tells of her journey downward, into the shadows, into the earth, into silence. It is the story of Inanna's descent. Imagine the ancient city of Uruk, quiet beneath the night. The ziggurat rises against the sky, its steps leading upward like a ladder for the soul. Torches glow, casting flickers across mud brick walls. And beyond the city, the desert spreads, endless and hushed, a sea of sand where stars look down like watchful eyes. Inanna looks upon the world, radiant yet restless. Her gaze turns not upward but downward, toward the underworld, the place of silence, the realm of her sister Ereshkigal. There is no light there, only dust, only stillness. Yet Inanna, in her strength and curiosity, chooses to descend. She prepares herself as one prepares for a sacred journey. She places the crown upon her head, a circle of power. She adorns her neck with beads that glimmer softly, treasures of her kingdom. She drapes robes of beauty upon her body, each fold shining with authority. She takes the rod of command in her hand, the symbol of her rule. Dressed in glory, she steps toward the gates of the underworld. Picture the first gate rising before her. It is made of stone, heavy and unyielding. A guardian waits there, silent, unmoving. To pass, she must remove something she carries. And so, the crown is taken from her head. She moves onward, bare of her highest honor. At the second gate, her necklace is lifted away. At the third, her breastplate. At the fourth, her rod of command. At each gate, another piece of her power falls away. One by one, her adornments are stripped. One by one, her symbols are removed. until she stands with nothing, naked before the underworld. The goddess of heaven, the morning star, has been humbled. This is the heart of the tale. Even the greatest must descend. Even the brightest must walk into shadow. Even the strong must know the silence of surrender. The underworld is not cruel, only still. It waits with patience, holding all who pass through. Inanna enters, her light dimmed, her strength laid aside. Her sister, Ereshkigal, reigns there. She is the queen of the dead, a figure of sorrow, of power hidden in silence. When she sees Inanna, she judges her. And Inanna is struck down. Her body hangs upon a hook, lifeless, unmoving. The queen of the heavens has fallen. Yet even in this stillness, the story does not end. For Inanna, though bound in silence, is not forgotten. Her faithful servants remember her. They go to the gods, pleading for help, begging for mercy. Two tiny beings are fashioned from the dust. They slip silently into the underworld. They are small, unnoticed, yet filled with compassion. They kneel beside Ereshkigal, who groans in her sorrow. They do not judge her. They do not speak of light. They simply listen. When she weeps, they echo her weeping. When she sighs, they sigh with her. When she groans, they answer with the same sound. In their stillness, in their compassion, she finds comfort. And in gratitude, she offers them a gift. They ask for Inanna's release, and so it is granted. Inanna rises again. She ascends from the shadows. She passes back through the gates. Her adornments are returned one by one. Her crown, her necklace, her robe of power. She emerges into the light of the upper world. But though she shines once more, she is not the same. She has touched the stillness of death. She has walked into silence and returned. She has known surrender, and in that surrender, she has been renewed. This story lulled the hearts of Sumerians for generations. It told them that descent is part of life, that even the radiant must sometimes fall, that even in the dark there is a path of return. It was a story of death, but also of rebirth, of loss, but also of resilience, of surrender, but also of renewal. It mirrored the cycles of the earth. The seed descends into soil, buried and unseen. For a time it is nothing but stillness, but then in the quiet it awakens. It rises. It blooms. Inanna's journey was the journey of the seed, the journey of the moon, which disappears and returns, the journey of the spirit, which falls into silence, but is never truly lost. Now picture yourself as the listener, drifting with the rhythm of this myth. You too may feel that there are times of descent, times of silence, times when the world feels dim. But in this story, descent is not the end. It is a passage, a doorway, a season that leads to another season. The underworld is not only shadow, it is also rest. It is also renewal. It is the place where seeds sleep before they bloom, where the spirit rests before it awakens, where silence becomes the soil of song. Inanna's tale is gentle wisdom, wrapped in the fabric of myth. It tells of the courage to descend. It tells of the humility to be stripped bare. It tells of the compassion that heals, not through power, but through listening. Even Ereshkigal, queen of the dead, softened when she was heard. Her sorrow eased when it was shared. Her heart opened when others simply mirrored her pain. And through that, life was restored. So too, the story whispers, does the heart awaken when compassion is offered. So too does life return when grief is honored. So too does light emerge when silence is embraced. Let your breath now be as slow as this descent. Let each inhale carry you deeper into calm. Let each exhale release a little more weight. You are safe in this stillness. You are held in the gentle rhythm of the story. The gates of the underworld close softly behind you. The river of stars glimmers above you. The world is whole again. Balanced between light and shadow, Inanna has returned. The seed has bloomed. The night is kind. Now rest as the story rests. Rest as the river of time flows quietly. Rest as the stars return to their places. The descent is over. The night continues. Your dreams are safe. Let us drift onward. Into silence. Into stillness. Into sleep. The night is hushed. The air rests upon the earth like a cool veil. Above, the moon glows, full and silver, floating as though it were a lamp in the hands of the heavens. Soft winds move across forests and seas. The sound of leaves trembles lightly in their sleep. In this gentle night, we drift toward the temples of Artemis. They stand in memory and in dream, sanctuaries shaped of stone and prayer. Here, the goddess of the moon and wild places was honored. Here, her name was whispered by maidens, hunters, and mothers. Here, the silver glow of her presence touched the earth. The temple rises in the imagination like a vision. Tall columns gleam in moonlight, pale as bones polished by time. Steps lead upward, each one echoing softly under bare feet. Torches glow at the entrance, their flames bowing in the breath of night. The scent of cedar smoke drifts, mingling with the perfume of wild herbs placed on the altar. Inside, silence reigns. The air is cool, the stone is smooth, the shadows lie still. And in the center, an image of Artemis stands. She is the huntress, yet untouched by blood. She is the protector, yet as free as the wind. Her bow rests at her side, her gaze turned toward the horizon. At her feet, a deer lowers its head, calm and safe beneath her light. This temple is not only stone, it is memory. It is a place where the soul may wander into stillness. Artemis was the twin of Apollo. He was the sun, radiant and golden. She was the moon, silver and serene. Together they marked the rhythms of time, day and night, song and silence. Where Apollo brought music and reason, Artemis brought instinct and freedom. She was the goddess of the wild places, of the hunt, of rivers and forests, yet also the guardian of childbirth, watching with tender eyes as new life entered the world. To the Greeks, she was both fierce and gentle, a maiden who loved the untamed hills, yet also a protector who guided mothers in their hour of pain. Her temples were sanctuaries for many kinds of prayers. The young prayed for guidance, hunters prayed for swiftness, mothers prayed for safety, and travelers prayed for her light to guard their steps. Imagine the sanctuary of Ephesus, one of the wonders of the world. Its vast marble pillars stretched upward like a forest of stone, gleaming white beneath the sky. Pilgrims came from distant lands to offer gifts, to kneel in silence, to feel the presence of Artemis. The temple rang with the songs of women, soft and low, rising in harmony like the sound of a river. Garlands of flowers were placed upon the altars, fragrant with roses, myrtle, and laurel. Offerings of honey and wine glimmered in the torchlight, and always the moon hung above, silvering the sea beyond. In such a place, hearts grew still. The world outside, with its noise and struggle, seemed far away. Here, there was only stone, light, and prayer. Here the spirit could rest, but Artemis was not bound to temples alone. She roamed the forests, the valleys, the mountains where wild deer leapt. Her spirit moved in the shadows of trees, in the call of owls, in the soft ripple of hidden streams. When maidens walked beneath the moonlight, they felt her presence like a sister's hand. When mothers labored to bring forth life, they whispered her name for strength. When hunters raised their bows, they felt her gaze steady their breath. She was the moonlight itself, touching all without chains, soft, untamed, eternal. Listen now to the rhythm of her myth, for each tale is like a slow wave upon the shore. Artemis was born upon the sacred island of Delos. Her mother, Leto, wandered in exile, searching for a place to bring forth her children. The world had turned her away, yet the small island welcomed her. There, beneath a palm tree, Artemis was born first, and with her first breath, she became the helper of her mother, guiding the birth of her twin, Apollo. From the very beginning, Artemis was a guardian of birth, a midwife among goddesses. She who would later walk the forest with bow and arrow first came into being with hands of care. This memory lingered in every temple. Every mother who cried out in labor called her name, trusting the goddess who had once guided her own brother into light. Yet Artemis was also wild, untamed by bonds of men or city. She asked her father, Zeus, for eternal maidenhood, that she might roam free beneath the sky. She desired no throne, no chains, no marriage bed. Her companions were nymphs who laughed among rivers, who chased deer through forests, who sang to the moon. Together they danced in the glades, their feet soft upon the moss, their voices blending with the wind. To those who honored her freedom, Artemis was gentle. To those who broke her peace, she could be fierce. Yet even her fierceness was a form of protection. She guarded the sanctity of her wild spaces. She guarded the innocence of her maidens. She guarded the fragile moment when new life entered the world. The Greeks saw her as a bridge between many worlds, between forest and city, between maiden and mother, between life and death, between the shining moon and the dark earth below. In her temples, people felt the balance of these worlds. They knew she was not only a huntress, not only a protector, but a reminder that life is both gentle and strong, both wild and tender. both fleeting and eternal. Close your eyes and imagine walking through a grove dedicated to her. The air is cool, filled with the scent of pine and cypress. A stream glimmers, reflecting the moon. Statues of the goddess stand among the trees, their marble faces calm and watchful. Priestesses move slowly, carrying bowls of water drawn from sacred springs. Their voices rise in song, soft and steady, like the humming of bees in summer. You walk deeper, and the sound of the world grows fainter. Only the song remains, only the glow of the moon, only the presence of Artemis, flowing like silver light through the branches. Her myths, whispered in such groves, were not only stories, they were guides, gentle lanterns for the spirit. They reminded the Greeks to honor the wildness of the earth, to respect the cycles of the moon, to trust the hidden strength of women. In Artemis, they saw purity, freedom, protection, and renewal. Even now, as you listen, her spirit lingers like a hush upon the night. She is the deer stepping softly across a meadow. She is the owl gliding silent through trees. She is the moon pouring silver upon the sea. And she is the temple, standing eternal, even if only in dream. The temple of Artemis at Ephesus was said to be a wonder. Its pillars gleamed with carved reliefs. Its great hall echoed with footsteps softened by reverence. At night, when the moon rose, its light fell across the marble, turning it to silver. The people saw this and believed it was the goddess herself blessing her sanctuary. But perhaps the true wonder was not the stone, but the stillness it held. Not the size of the temple, but the peace within its walls. Not the riches of offerings, but the quiet prayers of hearts that sought protection. For in the end, the temple of Artemis was not only in Ephesus. It was wherever the moonlight touched. It was wherever a mother whispered her name. It was wherever a maiden walked freely beneath the stars. It was wherever a hunter paused, bow lowered, to honor the life before him. The temple was the world itself, and the world was her temple. Now let the story slow, like a tide retreating into silence. The torches in the temple dim, their flames shrinking to embers. The grove falls quiet, the songs of priestesses fading into the hum of crickets. The columns stand still beneath the silver moon, and Artemis, wild and free, walks once more into the forest shadows, her bow at her side, her gaze turned to the horizon. She is present in the hush, in the breeze, in the heartbeat of the earth. Her temples may crumble, but her spirit is eternal. She remains in the night sky, guiding, guarding, gentle and untamed. Now let your breath slow, like footsteps leaving the sanctuary. Let your body rest as the marble rests. Let your mind drift as the moon drifts across the sky. The temples of Artemis fade into dream. But the peace they hold stays with you, a piece of silver light, a piece of freedom, a peace that cradles you softly, like the quiet hand of the goddess herself. Rest now as the moon watches. Rest now as the stars return. Rest now in the sanctuary of night. Let us drift onward, into silence, into stillness, into sleep. The night is calm. The sea lies wide and endless, its surface shimmering under the silver light of the moon. Gentle waves rise and fall, carrying the breath of the earth in a slow rhythm. The air is soft with salt and mist, cool against the skin. Far above, stars glow like lanterns, scattered across the dark canopy of sky. In this quiet hour, the story begins to stir. A tale as old as memory, a vision of beauty born from water. We drift across the sea toward the Isle of Cyprus, where the goddess Aphrodite first rose. Her birth was not of mortal kind, but of the ocean itself, shimmering, eternal, untamed. The waves part, and the sea foam gathers. It shines like pearl, glowing white in the moonlight. From its heart a form begins to rise, graceful, serene, radiant with warmth. This is Aphrodite, the goddess of love, stepping upon the shore for the very first time. Her hair flows like golden threads, catching the light of dawn. Her skin glimmers as though brushed with sunlight, and where her feet touch the sand, flowers awaken, their petals opening to greet her. She is the star of the sea, yet also the fire of the heart, both ocean and flame, both endless and intimate. The people of Cyprus remembered this birth not as a single moment, but as a mystery that lived on in every tide. Every time foam curled upon the waves, they saw the memory of her rising. Every time dawn touched the water, they felt her presence. The sea itself was her cradle. Its rhythm carried her name. Its endlessness reflected her power. For love is like the sea, vast, unpredictable, strong, and tender. It can be soft as rippling foam, yet mighty as a storm. It can be calm and still, yet also boundless, unable to be contained. And so Aphrodite became more than a goddess of beauty. She was the reminder of the force that binds all life together, the longing that draws soul to soul, the harmony that joins body and spirit, the bond that guides the world in its eternal dance. Imagine now walking through a temple built for her. Its marble columns rise pale against the sky. Vines twist around the stone, fragrant with roses and myrtle. The air carries the sound of water, fountains spilling softly into clear basins. Inside, the statue of the goddess glows in the flicker of oil lamps. Her face is calm, her eyes lowered as though she gazes into the heart of all who enter. Worshippers bring offerings of flowers, of perfumes, of doves released into the open air. Their prayers are gentle. Some whisper for union with a beloved. Others seek peace in a troubled marriage.
Some ask for children.
And others come simply to stand in her presence, to feel beauty surrounding them like a soft cloak. To each, Aphrodite gives not possession, but reminder that love, like the sea, must be honored, must be cared for, must be given as much as received. Her myths ripple like waves, each carrying a different light. Some tell of her as the beloved of Ares, god of war. Together, love and conflict danced, reminding mortals that passion and struggle often walk hand in hand. Others tell of her marriage to Hephaestus, the god of fire and forge, a union of beauty and craft. Still others speak of her gift to mortals, the stirring of the heart, the joy of union, the sweetness of touch. Each story shines like a star, small on its own, yet part of the vast constellation of her presence. One story tells of her guiding Paris, the shepherd prince, when asked to choose the fairest goddess. He placed the golden apple in her hands, and in return, she gave him the love of Helen, the most beautiful of women. From this gift, wars began, reminding all that love's fire can both warm and burn. But even in these tales of passion and conflict, the essence of Aphrodite remained the same. She was the gentle call within the heart, the spark that drew souls together, the reminder that beauty is not only seen with the eyes, but felt with the spirit. Close your eyes now and picture her star, the morning star, shining before the sun rises. To the Greeks, this was her light, a bright point in the sky, guiding sailors across the sea, guiding lovers through the night. Even when the world was dark, her star shone. Even when storms hid the moon, her star remained. It was not only a celestial light, but a symbol of the inner flame, the light within every heart that longs, that hopes, that loves, a star that burns quietly, reminding all that beauty and love are never lost, only hidden until they rise again. On Cyprus, her island, the sea still whispers her name. The cliffs are kissed by waves, the beaches washed with silver foam. Travelers once came to these shores to bathe in her waters, believing they would carry her blessing. They gathered shells, her sacred symbol, from the sand. They crowned themselves with roses, another gift of her hand. And at night, they gazed at the horizon, waiting for her star to appear, shimmering above the sea. Each gesture was small, yet each was filled with reverence. For Aphrodite was not only a goddess high in the heavens, she was near, present in the sea's touch, in the blossom of a flower, in the warmth of a gentle glance. Love, in her image, was more than desire. It was harmony. It was connection. It was the deep, quiet current that moves beneath the surface of all life. The Greeks knew this, and so they honored her with both joy and solemnity. They sang hymns of beauty, yet also prayed for balance. They knew that love could heal wounds, could bring peace, could lift the weary spirit. But they also knew that, like the sea, it must be respected, lest it overwhelm. In the soft quiet of night, her presence can still be felt. She is the wave touching the shore with tender rhythm. She is the rose opening its petals in silence. She is the morning star shining faint but steadfast in the sky. Her story is not only of the past. It lingers in the breath of lovers who meet, in the bond between mother and child, in the kindness shared between strangers, in every form of beauty that touches the heart without demand. Now imagine yourself standing upon the shore of Cyprus. The sand is cool beneath your feet. The waves roll in, slow and steady, bringing with them the memory of her birth. The horizon glows faintly with the promise of dawn. And there, in the space between night and day, you see her star, bright, steady, guiding. It reminds you that even in times of darkness, beauty remains. Even in moments of sorrow, love is near. Even when all else falls silent, the heart still holds light. The temples may fade, the statues may crumble, but the sea is eternal. And so is the star of Aphrodite. She rises again and again, in every wave, in every dawn, in every quiet act of love. She remains the flame that softens the night, the star that leads the heart, the goddess who was born of foam but lives in eternity. Now let your breath slow, like the tide returning to the sea. Let your thoughts drift, like foam upon the waves. Let your body rest, as the sand rests beneath the moon. The star of Aphrodite shines softly in the sky, steady, peaceful, eternal. It glows above you, a reminder of love's gentle presence. It guides you toward calm, toward rest, toward sleep. Rest now as the sea whispers. Rest now as the waves cradle the shore. Rest now as her star returns to soothe your night. Let us drift onward, into silence, into stillness, into sleep. The desert night is wide and still. Stars bloom like pale flowers against the dark sky. The sand is cool, brushed by the faint breath of wind. Dunes stretch like soft waves, endless and slow, each one shaped by time. In the distance, faint torches glow, small flames carried by travelers across the open plain. The earth feels hushed, waiting. The silence is heavy, yet not empty. It is the silence of ancient memory. Here in the heart of Canaanite lands, stories are whispered by firelight. They speak of Inanna, the desert queen, fierce and radiant, protector and destroyer, a goddess who carries in her heart the twin faces of life, war and tenderness. She is pictured with flowing hair, dark as midnight. Her hands hold bow and spear, yet her gaze softens like the shade of a tree in summer. To those who knew her, she was not only warrior, not only sister, not only maiden of power. She was balance itself, fire and water, storm and calm, life and death walking side by side. The people of Canaan looked to her when the land was dry, when enemies pressed near, when hearts trembled with fear. They called her name not only to fight but to guard, to shield, to protect. For Inanna was a goddess who stood like a wall of stone against all that threatened life. And yet, when battle was done, she bent low to lift the weary, to cradle the broken, to soothe the heart. Imagine a temple built for her. Its walls rise from desert stone, painted with red and gold. Torches burn at the gate, their light flickering upon carved lions and doves. For both were sacred to her, the fierce lion of war, the gentle dove of peace. Inside, the air carries the scent of incense, thick with resin and myrrh. Priests chant softly, their voices slow, like the beat of distant drums. At the center, her image stands tall, a crown upon her brow, a spear in her hand, and at her feet flowers are laid, not only for victory, but for protection. Travelers pray before setting out across the sands. Mothers whisper her name when their children sleep. Fathers call to her when guarding their flocks. She is the goddess who holds the land like a mother holds a child, sometimes with fierce arms, sometimes with gentle ones. The myths tell of her bond with Baal, the storm god. He was the rider on the clouds, bringer of rain, the one who gave life to the earth. Inanna, his sister, his protector, stood beside him always. When he faced threats, she fought with strength greater than armies. When he was gone, lost to the underworld, she wept, and her cries shook the heavens. She searched for him, fought for him, and brought him back, so that the land might breathe again. This tale was not only of gods, but of seasons. For when Baal vanished, rain ceased, fields turned dry, rivers shrank, and famine grew. And when Inanna brought him back, life returned, crops rose, and the land sang once more. Through her love and her power, balance was restored. Listen now to the desert winds. They whisper her story. They tell of her standing on high cliffs, spear raised to the stars. They tell of her voice calling across valleys, strong yet gentle, like the roll of thunder softened by rain. They tell of her heart, fierce enough to fight the darkness, tender enough to protect the smallest lamb. In this, she is the eternal paradox. She is war, yet she is also peace. She is the shield and the sword, the storm and the stillness after storm. Her essence is not one-sided but whole, carrying every part of existence within her. The people sang songs for her, soft hymns, slow as the desert night. They did not fear her. They trusted her, for she was not war for its own sake. She was war as protection. She was battle as love. She was the one who fought so that children might sleep in safety, so that fields might grow in peace, so that life might continue beneath the wide sky. To them, Inanna was like the desert itself, harsh under the sun, yet gentle beneath the stars, empty to the eyes, yet full of hidden wells, unforgiving in strength, yet carrying beauty in every grain of sand. One story tells of her after battle. Her spear still shone with power, yet her eyes softened. She walked among the fallen, not only warriors, but animals, even broken plants, even cracked stones. She touched them, and in her touch there was sorrow, and tenderness, and care. For even in destruction she carried love. Even in endings she carried beginnings. This was her gift. Not only the power to protect, but the wisdom to mourn, to heal, to begin again. For no cycle was complete without her. Life and death, love and war, growth and decay, each was part of her endless dance. Picture now the sky above the desert. It is deep blue, scattered with countless stars. Each one burns like a tiny flame, far yet near. Among them, one star glimmers brighter as though set apart. This is her star, the Desert Queen's light. To those who wander the sands, it shines as guidance. To those who fear the dark, it shines as comfort. To those who lift their eyes in prayer, it shines as an answer. The desert may seem empty, yet beneath the silence, every grain carries memory. Every stone carries story. Every breath of wind carries prayer. And all are gathered beneath her star. And that is remembered not only in war songs, but in the quietest of moments. When a mother hushes her child with a soft lullaby, Anat's spirit is there. When a shepherd guards his flock through the night, Anat's strength is near. When lovers share a glance by firelight, her tenderness glows between them. She is not distant, but close, woven into the very rhythm of life. Her presence is in the lion's roar and in the dove's coo.
She is in the clash of thunder and in the stillness of dawn.
She is in the courage of warriors and in the gentle hands that bind their wounds. She is in the silence after a storm when the desert holds its breath, waiting for life to begin again. Now imagine yourself resting at the edge of her temple. The torches burn low. The chanting fades. The desert wind cools the air. The stone walls glow faintly under starlight. You sit upon smooth steps, eyes half closed, listening to the quiet. The night is safe here, for Anat watches. Her spear is raised against the unseen, yet her hand is gentle upon your shoulder. She guards your dreams as she guarded her people. She surrounds you with the same balance she brought to the world, strength and rest, protection and peace. Anat teaches without words. Her lesson is carved in the rhythm of life. That love is not only soft, but strong. That peace is not only still, but guarded. That beauty is not only fragile, but fierce. In her, opposites meet, not as enemies, but as one. And so, as the night deepens, you begin to feel that same balance. The strength of the desert stone beneath you, the gentleness of the desert wind upon your face, the vastness of the sky above, and the quiet of your breath within. All is part of her. All is part of you. The myths of Anat are old, yet they are not gone. They live in memory, in story, in dream. They live in the quiet places of the world, in the fierce places of the world, in the tender spaces of the heart. Her temple may fade, but her presence does not fade. Her star may shift, but it does not vanish. Her name may whisper, but it is never silenced. The Desert Queen remains, fierce, protective, tender, eternal. Now let your body soften like sand beneath the cool night. Let your thoughts grow still, like torches fading to ash. Let your breath slow, like wind settling across dunes. The star of Anat glimmers above, patient and kind. It shines as it has always shone. It guides as it has always guided. It soothes as it has always soothed. Rest beneath her watchful gaze. Rest in the balance she brings. Rest as the desert night enfolds you, safe and calm. Let us drift onward, into silence, into stillness, into sleep. The night is still. Above you, stars scatter like drops of silver across the sky. The air carries the faint scent of jasmine, drifting slowly, tenderly. In the quiet, a temple rises. Its walls glow under the touch of moonlight, carved with delicate patterns of lotus and flame. Oil lamps flicker in the doorways, their golden light swaying with the wind. The sound of a bell echoes once, soft and long, as though time itself has paused. Here, in this sacred place, the story of Shakti begins. Shakti, the living energy, the power that flows through gods and goddesses, through mountains and rivers, through heartbeat and breath. She is not only one goddess, but the essence behind them all. Where there is life, there is Shakti. Where there is movement, there is Shakti. Where there is love and change and creation, there she dwells. The people of ancient India told her stories with reverence. They spoke of her as the mother of all forms, yet she was also warrior, protector, teacher, and flame. Her presence was like the river that flows endlessly, never still, always alive. Her energy could be gentle, like the hush of dawn. It could be fierce, like a storm breaking over the sea. It could be playful, like children's laughter. It could be calm, like the silence between breaths. To them, Shakti was not far away. She was within every living thing. The cows grazing in the fields, the peacocks calling at sunrise, the rivers winding through villages. The sound of drums in the temple was her heartbeat. The glow of fire was her spirit. Every goddess was her face, every rhythm her dance. In the tales, she appears in many forms. Sometimes as Parvati, the gentle one, seated upon mountains, guiding with patience and care. Sometimes as Durga, riding a lion with many arms and weapons, fierce and radiant, destroying all that harms. Sometimes as Kali, dark and vast, who dances upon time itself, showing that endings, too, belong to life's circle. Each form is different, yet each is Shakti, the same power flowing through many shapes, like water taking the shape of every vessel it enters. Shakti is the mother of the universe, yet also the warrior who protects it. She is the river and the fire, the seed and the blossom, the silence and the song. She is energy itself, without which nothing can move, nothing can live. Imagine standing in her temple. The walls are lined with lamps, each one a tiny star upon the stone. The scent of sandalwood smoke curls upward, spiraling into the night. Women sing softly, their voices weaving like threads in the air. Their song praises her power. It rises and falls like waves upon a shore. It soothes, even as it stirs the heart with strength. A statue of the goddess rests at the center. Perhaps it shows Durga, her lion crouched at her side, her many hands holding sword, bow, and trident. Perhaps it shows Parvati, seated in stillness, her gaze calm as the morning sky. Or perhaps it shows Kali, wild-haired, garlanded with time itself, her dance shaking the stars. Each form reminds the worshipper of Shakti's endless ways of being. And each form teaches that this energy lives not only in heaven, but here, in the breath of all who stand before her. The myths tell of a time when gods themselves were powerless. Demons rose with arrogance, strong and merciless, and the heavens trembled. The gods tried to fight, but their strength faltered. They prayed together, voices lifted into the vastness, and from their combined cries, a light was born. It blazed brighter than the sun. It roared louder than thunder. From that light, Shakti emerged. She took the shape of Durga, majestic and fierce. Her body shone like fire. Her crown glittered with stars. Her hands held weapons gifted by every god. With a smile both tender and terrifying, she mounted her lion and faced the demons. The battle raged, but in her presence no force could stand. Her arrows flew like lightning. Her sword cut through darkness itself. Her laughter echoed like thunder rolling through valleys. When the struggle ended, peace returned. The gods bowed to her, for they knew, without Shakti, they were only stillness. With her, they were life itself. Yet Shakti is not only battle. She is the quiet hand that heals. She is the whisper of wisdom in the heart. She is the strength of mothers who hold their children close, the courage of farmers who plant seeds in dry earth, the resilience of those who keep walking, step by step, beneath a hot sun. She is also joy. Festivals light up in her honor. Drums beat, cymbals clash, dancers spin in circles, their arms raised to the sky. Flowers are strung across doorways, sweets are shared, fires glow deep into the night. People sing of her with smiles upon their lips, their voices strong, their hearts lifted. For Shakti is celebration, the current of happiness that flows when communities come together, when hearts unite in love. Her presence is not bound by temples alone. She lives in the river, ever moving, ever giving. She lives in the mountain, steady and tall. She lives in the flame, burning and bright. She lives in the soil, nourishing seeds into life. Everywhere she dwells, for she is life's very essence. The yogis and sages knew this. They taught that Shakti rests within every human being, like a serpent coiled at the base of the spine. When awakened through meditation and breath, she rises, flowing upward through channels of light. She awakens wisdom, opens the heart, and unites the spirit with the divine. This, too, is her dance, an inward journey, where energy rises like a flame, like a river reaching its source. Now imagine yourself walking through a forest at dusk. The air is cool, leaves rustle gently, and fireflies glow like tiny stars between the trees. A river flows nearby, soft and steady. You pause and you feel it, the hum of life all around, the quiet pulse within your chest, the rhythm of your breath, the warmth of your body. This is Shakti, living within you, the same energy that moves rivers, that grows forests, that carries the moon across the night sky. She flows through you, too. She is not apart from you. She is you. Your heartbeat is her drum. Your breath is her song. Your life is her temple. In the great stories, even Shiva, Lord of meditation and silence, is stillness without her. He is pure awareness, vast and infinite, but unmoving without Shakti. When united with her, he becomes alive. Together, they form balance, stillness and motion, silence and sound, being and becoming. Shiva is the mountain. Shakti is the river that flows around it. Shiva is the sky. Shakti is the lightning that dances through it. Neither complete without the other. The night deepens. The temple lamps flicker lower. The last chant fades into silence. The desert of sound grows vast, filled only with breath, and yet you feel her still. A warmth, a current, flowing gently through your body. A sense of safety, of presence, of love. Shakti is the mother who never leaves. She is the protector who never sleeps. She is the energy that will carry you through the night, through every dream, through every dawn. Now let your breath grow slower, like the river's flow. Let your thoughts grow lighter, like fireflies fading into night. Let your body rest, held gently by her power, for Shakti surrounds you. She flows within you. She is the living energy, eternal and kind. Now rest, as the stars return above. Now drift, as the night grows soft and still. Now sleep, as Shakti cradles your heart in her endless light. The mists gather. They curl over the still waters, silver and slow, carrying the scent of moss and pine. The surface of the lake shimmers like glass, a mirror of moon and star, of drifting clouds that fade into the endless sky. Here, in this twilight between day and dream, a presence stirs. You drift toward the edge of the lake. The air is cool, soft upon the skin, like silk. Somewhere, in the hush of reeds and the gentle call of nightbirds, you sense her, the lady of the lake, keeper of mysteries, guardian of hidden realms. She rises not with noise, but with silence. Her form is woven from mist and water, from light that dances on ripples. She is ageless, a figure of grace, her eyes carrying the depth of stars and the calm of Earth's oldest stones. She is both near and far, both human and more than human. She is the spirit of waters that cradle secrets. The Celts told stories of lakes as doors to other worlds. Waters were never only waters. They were veils. They were thresholds. To step into them was to step between realms. The lady was their guardian. To some she was enchantress, to others healer. To all she was a guide. She carried gifts, but never lightly. She held them with gravity, with the deep patience of the earth. She gave not to those who demanded, but to those who were ready. The water knew the difference, and so she became a protector, not only of lakes, but of balance. Her presence was said to soothe wandering souls. To the weary, she offered rest. To the broken, she offered healing. To the lost, she offered the quiet sound of water, reminding them of cycles, of tides, of the eternal return. There is a story of a sword, a blade of brightness, a symbol of kingship and destiny. It did not come from earth or forge alone, but from her hands. The lady held Excalibur beneath the surface, hidden in deep waters until the time was right. When Arthur came, she rose. The mist parted. The sword gleamed in her grasp, the hilt rich with jewels, the blade shimmering with light not of this world. She offered it to him, not as a weapon of war, but as a sacred trust. In the hush of the night you can almost see it. The ripple of the lake, the pale arm rising, strong and steady, the blade catching the moonlight. It is not only a tale of kings, it is a tale of how power is given, not seized, how true strength comes not from demand, but from worthiness. But she is more than one story. The Lady of the Lake is not bound to a single name or form. She is a weaving of many voices. Some called her Viviane, some called her Nimue. Some said she taught Merlin, the great magician, binding his heart with wisdom and with love. Others said she trapped him, though not with cruelty. Rather, she showed the power of boundaries, the strength of stillness, the spell of silence. To hear her tale is to hear water itself, sometimes soft, sometimes strong, sometimes flowing, sometimes still, always shaping, always carrying, always alive. In the quiet reflection of the lake, you see not only her, but yourself. Water has always been a mirror. When you gaze into it, you do not only see the face you wear, but the spirit that lies beneath. The lady watches over this mirror. She invites you to look, but gently. She reminds you that seeing is not about judgment. It is about listening. Like ripples on water, thoughts will come. They will pass. The surface will settle. What remains is calm. Her gift is this, the reminder that every soul holds its own lake. Deep, reflective, vast. To sit beside it is to know peace. Lakes were seen as thresholds, doors between this world and the next. To the Celts, they were places of offering. People would leave treasures, swords, jewels, sacred objects, casting them into the waters as gifts for the spirits. It was a way of speaking without words, a way of saying, we remember, we honor, we trust. The lady was keeper of these treasures. She held them in silence beneath the waves, guarding them through centuries. She was not greedy, for the water is never greedy. She was simply keeper, protecting what was given, releasing only what was needed. And so, she became a figure of balance. The lake could receive and the lake could return, just as life receives and life returns. Breath in, breath out. The endless rhythm. Legends say her lakes were places of healing. Wounded warriors would come to rest upon the banks. The water, cool and pure, would soothe their pain. Some would dream, and in their dreams they would see her face. Her voice would carry through their sleep, gentle as the softest song. When they awoke, they felt lighter, as if a burden had drifted away. Her healing was not only of the body, it was of the spirit. She reminded those who came that they were part of something vast, something flowing, something eternal. Pain was not the end. Struggle was not the whole story. The waters whispered, "You are more than this moment." Now the night deepens. The moon drifts higher. The stars shimmer, bright and clear, above the silvered lake. You rest upon the soft grass, your breath slow and steady. The lady of the lake lingers in the mist, a quiet presence neither near nor far. You do not need to see her fully to feel her. She is in the hush of the air. She is in the rhythm of the water. She is in the calm that spreads through your body. The lake glimmers. The mist folds around you like a blanket. You feel safe. You feel timeless. The lady of the lake does not vanish. She simply fades, like moonlight at dawn, like mist in morning sun. Her gift lingers, gentle as water upon stone, soft as breath upon glass. You carry her presence now in your own stillness, in your own calm. Let your thoughts drift like leaves upon the lake. Let your breath flow like the water, unhurried, endless, free. Now rest. Rest beneath the stars. Rest beneath the quiet gaze of the Lady of the Lake. For she will keep watch as the night deepens and dreams rise like mist. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return. The mountains rise, ancient and tall, their peaks touching the breath of the sky. Snow glimmers upon their crowns, catching the last golden light of the sun as evening falls. The air is thin and pure, carrying the sound of silence, broken only by the hush of the wind as it drifts across valleys and stone. Here, in this high and sacred land, the people of the Andes whisper prayers carried in the smoke of incense, in the rustle of leaves, in the steady rhythm of their footsteps upon the earth. For they know that this land is not only stone and soil, it is alive, watched over by the Mother, the giver of life, the one who holds the sun in her embrace. She is Pachamama, the Earth Mother, the Sun Mother. Her breath is in the rivers. Her warmth is in the light of day. Her gift is in every seed that grows. The people believe the earth breathes. Each mountain is a lung, each valley a vessel of air, each river a song of flowing breath. To live in the Andes is to live within her body, to rest upon her skin, to drink from her waters. The Sun Mother was said to weave the balance of all things. She did not shine only in the sky. She lived beneath the soil, warming roots and guiding the growth of corn and potatoes. She lived in the winds that carried clouds, bringing rain to dry fields. She lived in the fire of the hearth, where families gathered at night, telling stories beneath the stars. She was not distant, she was close, always near, always listening. When people sowed seeds, they offered a prayer. When they harvested crops, they poured a little drink into the soil, a gift back to her. For every gift taken, one must give. This was her law, her balance, her song. When dawn touched the mountains, the people saw her face in the sun. The peaks blazed with gold, snow shining like fire. Birds stirred in the valleys, wings catching the morning glow. The Sun Mother stretched across the land, her arms long rays of light, her hands soft warmth that kissed the skin. The Inca called her mother, but also goddess, a being older than time. They told stories of how she gave birth to the first humans, shaping them from the clay of the mountains, setting them upon the earth to live, to walk, to love. She taught them how to plant, how to weave, how to honor the cycle of life. The light of the sun was more than brightness. It was a promise that life continues, that darkness always yields to dawn, that warmth always returns after cold. Her golden touch reminded them, the earth is alive, and you are part of her. On sacred days, the people gathered upon the mountainsides. They carried woven cloths, corn, coca leaves, and chicha, the drink of the earth. With care, they placed offerings into the soil. Each offering was small, yet heavy with meaning. They spoke softly, almost whispering, for the mountain winds would carry their words to the mother. They asked for health, for strong harvests, for rain when the fields were dry, for sun when the rivers overflowed. But most of all, they gave thanks. Gratitude was her language. The Sun Mother heard not demands, but gentle thanks. In return, she offered balance. She gave rain in time, light in season, fruit in fullness. She reminded them, life is a circle. What is given returns. High in the Andes lies a lake, vast and shimmering, touched by the clouds and kissed by the sun. It was said that from these waters the children of the Sun Mother once emerged, sent to guide the people, to teach them the old ways of harmony. The lake was a mirror of the sky, a doorway between earth and heaven. When the sun set, the waters glowed with fire. When night came, the stars sank into its depths, as if the sky itself was resting in the arms of Pachamama. Pilgrims would journey to its shores, walking days, even weeks, to kneel before its waters. They dipped their hands, feeling the coolness, whispering prayers to the Mother who dwelled both in the light above and the depths below. The lake reminded them that she was everywhere, in the heights and the depths, in the soil beneath their feet and the sky above their heads. The Andes know two rhythms, the wet season and the dry. Both are her gifts. In the wet season, she sends rains that fill rivers, soaking the soil until it breathes with life. Seeds awaken, pushing green shoots into the open air. The valleys sing with growth. In the dry season, the earth rests. The sky stretches wide and clear, and the people gather what has grown. They thank her for her abundance, storing food for the colder months. The Sun Mother does not give endlessly. She gives in cycles. She reminds her children that rest is as sacred as labor, that silence is as holy as song. Every pause has meaning. Every turn of the season carries wisdom. At night, when the mountains grow cold, the people gather around fires. Sparks drift into the dark, like stars rising from earth. In the glow, they tell stories of Pachamama. Children listen, their eyes heavy, their breath slow, their dreams opening like petals in the dark. They hear how the Sun Mother once walked the valleys in human form. She came as a woman clothed in woven light, her eyes bright as dawn. She touched the soil with her bare feet, and wherever she stepped, flowers bloomed. She touched the rivers with her hands, and fish leapt from the waters, silver and alive. She touched the hearts of the people, and they felt peace, as if the sun itself had entered their chest. Though she walked only for a time, her presence never left. For every dawn, every harvest, every warm breath of wind is her touch, her reminder. Now, as you rest beneath the vast sky of the Andes, the mountains breathe around you. The stars scatter like seeds across the dark field of heaven. The moon drifts slowly, silver and soft. The air is cool, but within you is a warmth that lingers, a glow that does not fade. It is the Sun Mother's gift, a warmth not only of fire but of spirit. A reminder that you are held, as the mountains are held, as the rivers are held, as the earth itself is held in her embrace. You drift with the rhythm of her care. In breath, out breath. Like the seasons, like the tides of light and shadow. All is balance. All is safe. The night deepens. The stars seem closer now, as if listening. The mountains are silent, yet alive with presence. You feel the Sun Mother all around you, in the ground beneath, in the air above, in the steady beat of your own heart. She does not vanish. She lingers like warmth within stone, like memory within dream, She is always here, always near. Let her light rest within you. Let her warmth be your blanket. Let her presence guide you into sleep. Now, as the night folds gently over the mountains, you drift. Drift like clouds across the peaks. Drift like rivers down the valleys. Drift like breath in the stillness of the dark. Rest now. Rest as the stars return. Rest in the arms of the sun, mother of the Andes. The night is still. The air holds a quiet weight, as though the world is listening. Above, the stars scatter like grains of silver across the dark. Their glow falls softly upon stone, upon water, upon the hushed breath of the earth. It is within such a silence that wisdom is often found, not in the clamor of the day, nor in the noise of voices, but in the tender hush of evening. In early mystical traditions, there is one who embodies this silence, this secret flame of knowing. Her name is Sophia, the whisper of wisdom, the mother of understanding, a gentle presence guiding those who seek, not with loud command, but with soft suggestion. She comes not in thunder, but in stillness, not in fire that destroys, but in a light that reveals. When seekers of old sat beneath the stars, their hearts heavy with longing, they spoke of her. They told how Sophia was older than the hills, older than rivers, older even than the first spark of dawn. She was there when the world was woven. She stood beside the waters when they parted. She danced with the first winds that carried seeds across the earth. To some, she was a lady clothed in light. To others, she was a breath, unseen yet always near. Wherever wisdom rose, whether in song, in dream, or in sudden knowing, it was said Sophia had passed by, like a bird gliding across the horizon. Her wisdom was not sharp, it was soft. It did not cut, it healed. She came like the moon, steady and silver, reminding the earth of its quiet rhythm. In the old stories, wisdom was not found upon the crowded roads. It was found in hidden places, in the hush of caves where waters dripped like clocks of eternity, in the shade of groves where trees listened more than they spoke, in the silence of temples where flames flickered without wind. Sophia was said to dwell in such places, not to hide herself, but to invite the heart to slow, to wait, to listen. For wisdom is not a shout, it is a whisper. It cannot be grasped with haste. It comes only when one is still enough to hear. Thus the seekers learned to walk gently. They learned to pause. They learned that silence is not empty, but full. Sophia was often pictured as a river, clear, flowing, endless, a stream that winds through the valleys of the soul. Those who thirsted for meaning came to her waters. They knelt at her banks, cupping their hands to drink. The water was cool. It carried clarity. With each sip, burdens eased, confusion softened, and hearts grew calm. Yet the river did not force itself upon them. It did not rise and flood. It simply flowed, quiet and constant, waiting for the thirsty to come. In this, Sophia taught, wisdom cannot be forced upon another. It can only be offered. Like water, it waits to be taken. Long ago, seekers carried lamps into the night. The flame was small yet steady, guiding their steps. Sophia was seen in such a flame, not the oil, not the clay, not even the wick, but the light itself, a glow that belongs to no one, yet shines for all. The lamp reminded them, wisdom is not far. It burns within, quiet, hidden, yet always there. One only needs to shield it from harsh winds, to feed it with care, and its light will last the night. Sophia whispered through such symbols. She showed them that wisdom is not outside the self alone. It is also within, a lamp in the chest, a flame in the mind, a glow in the soul. The people said Sophia spoke in many ways. Sometimes she spoke through dreams, a gentle thread weaving through sleep. Sometimes through the turning of seasons, the rise of spring, the fall of autumn. Sometimes through the simple kindness of a stranger, or the laughter of a child. Her voice was not one of command, but of invitation. She never forced, never shouted. She spoke like still water, like the rustle of leaves, like the quiet shift of starlight. Her words were not always clear at first. They asked the heart to lean closer, to listen more deeply. In this listening, seekers found not only answers, but also peace. In some tales, Sophia was a tree, roots deep in the earth, branches reaching into the sky, her trunk steady, her leaves green, her fruit sweet. Those who sat in her shade found rest. Those who ate of her fruit found understanding. The birds that perched upon her branches carried her songs across the world. She was the link between earth and heaven, between soil and sky, between the human and the divine. The tree reminded the people that wisdom is both grounded and lifted, both humble and exalted. It grows slowly, steadily, with patience. And like the tree, Sophia taught that wisdom gives shelter. It is not for the self alone. It is for all who seek refuge, all who long for shade in the heat of the world. Another story told of Sophia as a pearl hidden deep in the sea. Divers would plunge into the waters, searching, braving darkness to find her. The pearl was not large. It was small, yet radiant. It gleamed with a light that never faded, no matter how deep the waters or how dark the night. The pearl taught them that wisdom is precious, yet hidden. One must be willing to dive, to go beneath the surface of things, to search beyond appearances. Only then does the hidden treasure shine. Sophia did not walk ahead with banners. She walked beside, unseen but felt. Her guidance was gentle, a pause before a choice, a quiet nudge toward kindness, a whisper to wait, to breathe, to see more clearly. Those who followed her did not always notice her at first, but later, when peace came, they would remember. A quiet thought, a subtle word, a calm feeling that turned their path. That was her way. Now, as the night deepens, imagine yourself beneath the stars. The sky stretches endless, yet close, like a blanket drawn across the earth. The air is still. You hear the quiet flow of a river nearby. You see the glow of a small lamp. You feel the cool shade of an unseen tree. All these are her symbols, her whispers. Sophia is near. Not loud, not fierce, but gentle. Her presence is like the hush that comes before sleep. Her gift is the calm that eases the heart, the clarity that softens the mind. You rest in her embrace. You breathe with her rhythm. Each breath is a prayer. Each moment is enough. The stars continue their slow turning. The night holds you softly. The whisper of wisdom drifts like wind through branches, like water across stone, like light through still air. Sophia does not leave. She lingers, as steady as the flame of a lamp, as constant as the roots of a tree, as gentle as the hush of a dream. Let her wisdom rest upon you like dew. Let her whisper guide you into quiet sleep. Let her presence remind you that wisdom is never far, never lost. Now close the door of thought. Now rest as the stars return. Now drift in the arms of Sophia, the whisper of wisdom. The night deepens. Candles flicker like quiet stars in a room of stone. Shadows move gently across the walls as if they too are alive, breathing softly in the stillness. Somewhere far away, beyond the reach of today, lies the island of Crete. Its hills are gentle, rising like waves frozen in green. The sea encircles it with silver tides, and the air smells of salt, honey, and wild herbs. It is here, in the heart of this island, that the old palaces once stood. Stone halls, painted walls, bright with color and story. There, in the deep silence of sacred chambers, lived the image of a goddess. She was unlike others, for in her hands she held serpents. The serpent goddess of Crete, a figure of power, yet tender, a figure of mystery, yet comfort. She was the guardian of life, of cycles, of the endless spiral of eternity. Imagine yourself entering one of those Minoan temples. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of olive oil lamps. Columns rise like trees, painted red and black. On the walls, patterns curl like waves, like spirals, like the turning of time itself. At the center, upon a small altar, stands the goddess. Her eyes are wide, unblinking, filled with calm strength. Her arms are lifted, and from her hands, serpents coil and twist, alive in her grasp. The serpents do not frighten. They shimmer with life, with the energy of earth and soil. They are not symbols of harm, but of renewal, of life that sheds its skin, only to be born again. In the old ways, the spiral was sacred. It turned inward and outward like the breath, like the tides of the sea, rushing forward, then retreating, like the seasons, circling back, always returning, always new. The serpent, too, was a spiral come alive. It curled, it coiled, it moved in circles, never straight, always flowing. To hold the serpent was to hold eternity itself, to embrace what dies and what is born again. The serpent goddess of Crete was the keeper of this truth. She reminded the people that life does not end, it changes, that endings are not final. They are beginnings waiting in silence. Crete was a land of plenty, fields of wheat bent in the wind. Olive trees spread wide across the hills. Goats climbed the slopes and bees hummed in golden swarms. The people knew the earth as a mother, They saw her bounty in every harvest, her gift in every meal, and they gave thanks to the goddess, who held in her hands the signs of life. The serpents she carried were also of the earth. They slipped through soil, close to the roots of trees. They lived in the ground, in the hidden places where seeds began. They were life's secret companions, silent workers beneath the surface. The serpent goddess stood as the bridge between soil and spirit, between what is hidden and what is seen. Picture a quiet evening in Knossos, the great palace. Torches glow along the walls. Priests and priestesses move softly, their steps a whisper against stone floors. The air hums with distant drums, slow and steady like the rhythm of a heart. Before the altar, the goddess figure is raised, small yet radiant with meaning. Her hands lift the serpents high, as though presenting them to the night sky. The people gather, not in fear, but in awe. They see in her the promise of growth, the renewal of crops, the cycle of all things. They see in her the spiral of time itself, endless, unbroken. And so, they close their eyes and listen to the silence that follows the drums. In that silence, wisdom arrives, like a serpent moving unseen through grass. The serpent sheds its skin. It leaves behind what is no longer needed. From this, the people learned, life too requires shedding. Old griefs, old fears, old burdens, they too may be shed. They fall away like dry skin, making room for the new. The serpent goddess taught that renewal is not to be feared, that to change is to live. Her raised arms seem to say, do not cling to what is gone. Trust the spiral. Trust the return of light, the rebirth that follows loss. The goddess was not loud. She was not the sun blazing across the sky. She was the hidden moon, half-veiled, watching in silence. Her wisdom was secret, wrapped in symbols. The people did not always understand, but they felt her presence. It was enough. She was mystery itself, the unspoken knowing that lived in the soil, in the sea, in the serpent's glide. To honor her was not to solve her, but to rest in her presence, trusting the unknown. Around Crete stretched the endless sea. Waves rose and fell like breaths of the world. Sailors looked upon that horizon, knowing the sea could give or take. The serpent goddess, too, was tied to that rhythm. Like the sea, she taught balance, life and death, gain and loss, the outward journey and the return. The sea and the serpent both moved in curves, never in straight lines. They reminded all that life itself is a winding path, not a simple road. Now picture yourself sitting in that old palace hall. The torches grow dim. The air is thick with stillness, almost like a dream. Before you, the goddess stands. Her gaze does not shift. The serpents curl in her hands, symbols of life that never ends. You feel the rhythm of your own breath. Inhale, like the spiral's outward turn. Exhale, like its return inward. A circle, a tide, a serpent's coil. The goddess is not distant. She is here, in the breath, in the body, in the earth that holds you. The night deepens further. The stars lean close like watchful eyes of eternity. The sea whispers in the distance, a lullaby of waves. The serpent goddess remains, still calm, eternal. Her serpents glisten in the torchlight, yet they are more than serpents. They are time itself. They are renewal. They are the secret that endings are beginnings. Rest now in her presence. Let your old burdens shed like skin. Let your breath follow the spiral, gentle, endless. The night cradles you. The goddess watches over you. The serpents coil softly in her hands, symbols of eternity, symbols of peace. Now, drift onward, into the quiet spiral of sleep. Now rest as the stars return. The night is deep yet tender. The stars are scattered, like grains of light upon dark silk. A hush rests over the world, like a blanket of stillness. The listener lies close to sleep, breathing with the rhythm of the earth. Far across oceans where mountains meet the sea, there is an ancient land. Its forests are green with cedar and pine. Its rivers move clear as crystal, winding between rocks smooth as bone. And its mountains rise high, their peaks touched with white snow, gleaming beneath the moon. This is Japan, and in its oldest stories, light itself is born from a goddess. Her name is Amaterasu, the sun goddess, the one whose warmth and glow bring life to the world. Long ago, before the patterns of day and night were steady, there was the sky. There was the sea. There were shadows that lingered waiting for brightness. From the union of heaven and earth the divine children came. and among them one shone above the rest, Amaterasu, radiant, gentle, and strong. Her eyes were like dawn breaking. Her face glowed with the promise of warmth. From her body spread light, not harsh, but golden, the kind of light that coaxes flowers open, that ripens the rice in the fields, that warms the skin in spring. The people looked to her, knowing that without her glow, the land would sleep forever. The world she touched grew fertile. Rice fields shimmered like mirrors under the sun. Stalks rose high, golden grains bending in the wind. Villages thrived under her watch, their children laughing, their rivers clear, their gardens full. The people honored her with songs, with dances, with offerings. They raised their hands to the sky in gratitude. Every meal, every sip of water carried her blessing. Amaterasu was more than light. She was nourishment. She was life given freely, the mother who watched from above. But even the sun may retreat. Even light may hide. There came a time when sorrow and anger touched the goddess. Her brother, wild and reckless, brought storms and ruin across the land. His shadow spread and his deeds filled Amaterasu with grief. So she withdrew. She turned from the world and hid herself in a cave of stone. The entrance was sealed with heavy rock. Inside, her light dimmed, and outside the world fell into darkness. The rivers slowed. The fields turned dry. The people trembled, for without her glow, life began to fade. The stars shone, but they were not enough. The moon glowed, but its silver light was too soft to warm the earth. The world longed for the return of the sun. The other gods gathered at the cave's mouth. They knew they must bring her back, for only her light could save the earth. They tried calling. They tried pleading. But the stone remained silent, and Amaterasu did not stir. So they gathered together in council, and in their wisdom they chose a gentler way. Not force, not demand, but joy. They would remind the sun goddess of life's beauty, of laughter, of dance. So they lit fires. They beat drums. They sang songs low and steady, like heartbeats echoing through the night. And one goddess stepped forward to dance. The dance began slowly. A shuffle of feet, a sway of hips, arms raised, hair flowing. The drums deepened. The laughter grew. Soon the dance became wild with joy. The gods clapped. The music rose. The air shimmered with life. Even in the cave, Amaterasu heard the sound. She felt the vibration of drums through the stone. She wondered at the joy that filled the darkness outside. Curiosity stirred within her. Slowly, she approached the mouth of the cave. She lifted the stone, just enough to peer out, and what she saw was light. Not her own, but the reflection of her glow caught in a mirror shining back at her. The gods had crafted it, polished and bright. She saw her own radiance, more beautiful than she remembered. The laughter, the dance, the reflection, all drew her forward. And as she stepped out, the stone fell away, and the sun returned to the world. Light poured across the fields once more. The rivers ran bright and strong. The rice plants lifted their heads. The birds sang, their wings golden in the glow. The people rejoiced. Their voices rose with gratitude, for the sun goddess had returned. The balance was restored. Day and night began their steady rhythm. Amaterasu shone, but she had learned something in her time of retreat. That light, though eternal, must also rest. That even the sun needs silence and stillness, so it may shine again. And so day and night began their dance, light and darkness, balance and flow. The mirror that drew her forth became sacred. It was called Yata no Kagami, the eight-sided mirror. Not just glass, not just shine, but a symbol of truth. For in its reflection, Amaterasu saw herself. She saw that her own light was enough, that within her lay the power to warm, to heal, to bring life. The mirror remains sacred in Japan's shrines, a reminder of her radiance, a reminder that each soul, too, holds a spark of the divine, waiting to shine. The story of Amaterasu is not only of light, but of rhythm. The day opens, the night closes. The sun departs, the moon arrives. Life flows in circles, not in lines. The rice ripens, then is cut, then is sown again. The tides rise, then fall, then rise once more. The heart beats, the breath moves, the eyes close, and then awaken. Her story reminds all that retreat is part of return, that rest is part of radiance, that even the sun hides so that its coming forth is brighter still. Amaterasu shines upon the world, but her light is not only above. It lives in the warmth of kindness, in the glow of care, in the spark of joy. Every smile is a fragment of her sun. Every gentle word is a ray of her light. Every act of love carries her warmth across the earth. She is the radiance within as much as the radiance above. Steady now. The stars remain, yet behind them the sun waits. The earth breathes in its rhythm, light and dark, rest and rise. Amaterasu's radiance continues, whether seen or hidden. She reminds the world that light never leaves. It only rests. That dawn always returns, even when the night feels endless. So let the breath follow her rhythm. Inhale, like the rising sun. Exhale, like the falling dusk. A gentle circle, endless, steady, true. Now rest, under her watchful glow. The sun has set, but it will return. The warmth has softened, but it will shine again. Sleep in her embrace and drift onward into her golden dream. Now rest as the stars return. The night is soft. The sea is calm. A silver moon leans over the horizon, its light trembling on the slow-moving water. Waves rise and fall with the rhythm of breath. Each sound is steady, like a lullaby. Each ripple carries the memory of countless tides stretching far into the past. Here, on the quiet shores, a presence is felt, gentle, vast, like the embrace of the ocean itself. This is Yamaya, mother of the waters, guardian of the seas, protector of mothers and children. Her spirit moves with the tides. Her song is the hush of waves against sand. Her arms are the currents that cradle life, and her whisper is the sound you hear now, a voice within the rolling sea. Long ago, when the world was young, people looked to the waters with reverence. The rivers flowed to the sea, and the sea stretched endlessly to the sky. They saw in these waters a mother's face, strong, kind, always giving, always receiving. Yemia's name was spoken in soft prayers. Her gifts were fish, salt, and cool relief from heat. Her lessons were patience and flow. Her power was in nurturing. For every stream, every river, return to her embrace. Close your eyes now and drift into her story. Feel the water's cool edge brushing your skin. Hear the waves roll in, one after another, slow and steady, like the rhythm of a mother's heart. The people said, Yamaya was born from the first waters of creation. When the earth was still new and the sky had not yet been measured, she poured forth as an endless ocean. From her depths all life began. Fish swam in her tides. Plants sprouted along her shores. Even the rains that fall from the heavens were said to be her tears, rising up and returning, a cycle without end. In the villages near her waters, mothers would call upon her during childbirth. They whispered her name to keep their children safe, to wrap them in unseen arms. It was believed that every child who opened their eyes to the world had first been bathed in Yamaya's spirit, and so she became more than the sea. She became a mother to all, a soft protector, a guide through the waves of life. Imagine yourself walking by her shore. The sand is cool beneath your feet. The moonlight glitters on wet stone. You hear the hush of the tide, coming close, pulling away, always returning. With each wave, a gentle message arrives. It says, you are safe, you are held, you belong to the great waters of life. Legends tell of Yamaya's gifts. In Africa, she was honored as the river. In the Caribbean, she became the sea. Sailors prayed to her when leaving the coast, asking her to guide them home again. Mothers placed offerings by the water's edge. Shells, flowers, smooth stones, tokens of love to the mother of the waves. When storms came, they believed Yamaya's voice grew fierce, for even mothers must protect, even mothers must warn. But always, after the storm, her waters calmed, and her song returned to a lullaby. Close your thoughts now and drift deeper. Feel the tide carrying you, as though you float on a mother's breath. Every sound is slow, every moment is gentle. The sea rocks you, a cradle without end. Yamaya is often shown with a blue dress flowing like water. Her arms spread wide, as if to hold the world. Snakes coil at her side, symbols of rebirth and the cycles of life. In her hands she carries a shell, through which the voice of the ocean is heard, and always around her the shimmer of silver fish, the laughter of small waves, the perfume of salt and foam. One story tells of Yamaya rising from the sea at dawn. The people were weary, their fields dry, their hearts heavy. She came ashore quietly, the hem of her gown washing across the sand. She touched the earth with her hands, and from the ground clear water sprang forth. A spring bubbled, a river formed, and the land was fed. From that day, the people called her Mother of Streams. They said her love never dried, that her waters would always find a way to reach her children. The ocean is vast, yet Yamaya's presence makes it feel intimate, like sitting beside your mother at dusk, hearing her hum a tune. Each wave is that hum. Each tide is her steady breathing. When you listen, you feel her closeness. The fishermen knew this. Before they cast their nets, they spoke her name. Not in fear, but in respect. For the sea could provide, but only with gentleness, only with balance. Yamaya reminded them that to take was also to give, and to give was also to receive. Now imagine, you are drifting in a small boat. The stars are above. The moonlight is silver. The sea moves beneath you, steady and calm. It feels as though you are floating in Yamaya's hands. Her whisper is the wind. Her breath is the tide. Her love surrounds you like water. You are not alone here. You are never alone in her ocean. Her voice comes again, not in words, but in feelings. It says, "Rest, child. The world moves, but you are safe in the current. The waters know you. They carry you home." Some say, on nights when the moon is full, Yamaya dances upon the waves. Her gown flows like silver mist. Her laughter sparkles across the tide. She dances not for herself, but for the joy of her children. The sea becomes a mirror, catching her light, so that all who gaze upon it feel their hearts calm. And if you listen closely, very closely, you might hear her hum. A sound softer than the breeze, gentler than the wave, a song without end. As you drift deeper into this story, let yourself feel that song. It is low and steady, like the earth breathing. It moves through your body, soothing your thoughts, settling your heart. Each note is a wave. Each wave is a blessing. Yamaya's song tells you that life flows like water, always moving, always changing, but always returning to the sea, just as rivers do, just as you do. In the Caribbean, people honor her with festivals. They dress in blue and white, the colors of sea and foam. They carry baskets of fruit and flowers, floating them out into the waves. The ocean accepts these gifts, and in return, the people feel her blessings. It is said that when the offerings drift back to shore, it means Yamaya has heard them. She has listened. She has answered in her own gentle way. Now, let the story slow again. Feel your breath match the waves, in and out, like water on the sand, in and out. Yamaya's whisper follows you, soft as foam dissolving on the shore. Her presence is not far away. It is in every drop of water, every tear shed, every rain that falls, every tide that rises. Always she is near. Always she is holding you. And so, as the night deepens, imagine Yamaya standing before the ocean. Her dress ripples like 1,000 streams. Her eyes shine like the moon. She stretches out her hands. The waters part, then close again, like a mother drawing a blanket over a resting child. The sea is calm. The stars are bright. And Yamaya whispers once more, "Sleep now. The waves will keep their watch. The tide will cradle you. The waters will never leave you. Let the sound of her waves carry you deeper, deeper into stillness, deeper into rest. For Yamaya, the mother of the waters, has spread her arms around you. Her tide is your breath. Her lullaby is your dream. And her whisper will follow you into the soft night ahead. Now rest as the stars return and the ocean hums. Let Yamaya's tide rock you into peace. The night is tender. The air is cool. like a soft cloth laid gently upon the brow. Candles flicker in a chapel of stone, their flames swaying as though whispering prayers. The scent of olive oil and wildflowers lingers in the air. Far beyond the windows, the stars rest in quiet circles of light, spread across a velvet sky. It is here in this hush of night that Mary's presence is felt. Gentle, unhurried, a motherly spirit, soft as candlelight, steady as prayer. She has walked through centuries of devotion. Her face has been painted on walls and wood. Her name has been carried in whispers and hymns. She is remembered not in power or in thunder, but in tenderness, in the way a hand soothes a child, in the way silence brings peace, in the way hope flickers even in the darkest night. Long ago, in the quiet hills of Nazareth, a girl lived simply. Her days were woven with the rhythm of water jars, baking bread and listening to the wind in the olive trees. The world did not see greatness in her. She was small in the eyes of men, but the heavens saw differently. It is said an angel came to her. The light was gentle, not harsh or blinding, but soft, as though dawn had entered the room. The angel spoke of life, of a child who would bring light to the world. And Mary listened with a heart both steady and open. Her answer was not shouted, not forced, but simple. Yes. That yes became the root of countless prayers. It was the beginning of her story as mother. Picture her now. Her hands folded, her eyes lowered, her face calm. She is surrounded not by splendor, but by stillness. A young woman, yet already carrying a presence that feels timeless. From her womb, life blossomed. From her heart, faith flowed. From her arms, the child Jesus was held, cradled as every mother cradles her child, with a love that needs no words. Through the centuries, people have turned to her. They call her by many names: Our Lady, Theotokos, Mother of Mercy, Star of the Sea. Each name is a candle lit in her honor, a way of saying, Mary, stay near. In small chapels, peasants knelt before her image. In grand cathedrals, her statues gleamed in gold and light. And in quiet rooms, hearts whispered her name in the dark. Always the same longing, the same comfort, to feel the presence of the gentle mother. Her symbols are simple: a blue mantle, the color of heaven; a white lily, the flower of purity; a crown of stars, a reminder of her place in eternity; and sometimes a rosary twined through waiting hands, each bead a step toward peace. The rosary itself is like a river. It flows bead by bead, prayer by prayer, each one a ripple in the stillness. As fingers move along its path, the heart grows quiet. The mind drifts into rest. Mary's presence is near in that rhythm, like a mother humming softly at a cradle. Legends tell of Mary's tenderness. In times of famine, people prayed to her for bread. In storms at sea, sailors whispered her name as the waves crashed around them. In the shadows of war, her face appeared in visions, bringing calm where there was fear. They said her cloak was wide enough to shelter all who sought her. Her mantle became a symbol of safety, like the night sky that holds every star. Imagine yourself in a small chapel by the hills. The stones are cool beneath your hands. The air is still, carrying only the sound of a single flame. Before you stands her image. Her eyes are lowered in compassion. Her lips are parted in silence. There is no demand, no fear, only peace. She is present, as though she has always been near. And in that moment, your heart is lighter. Your thoughts soften. You feel safe, for you are under the gaze of the gentle mother. In Christian devotion, Mary is not distant. She is close, like a mother bending toward her child. People tell stories of her appearing in villages, her voice quiet, her presence clothed in light. Sometimes she is seen near springs of water, sometimes in gardens of roses, sometimes on mountain tops where clouds drift like veils. Always, her message is the same: peace, prayer, trust. Her words are like lullabies. They do not shout. They do not push. They only comfort. Think now of the Star of the Sea, one of her oldest names. Sailors long ago would look to the night sky guiding their ships by starlight. Mary became their star, a fixed light in the dark waters of life. Her presence was like the North Star, always steady, always shining, always guiding home. And so she remains, a light upon the sea of time, leading hearts back to safety, to stillness, to the harbor of peace. Her story does not end in Nazareth, nor in Bethlehem, nor even at the foot of the cross. Her story continues wherever hearts remember her. Every prayer spoken in her name is like a thread woven into the great fabric of compassion. Every candle lit before her image is like a star added to her crown, and so her presence stretches through centuries. Not bound by place, not bound by time, always near, always gentle. Imagine again the chapel. The candle burns lower. The flame trembles. Outside, the stars lean closer. You feel her presence in the hush, in the stillness. She's beside you, not with words, but with silence. Not with hands, but with comfort. The air itself feels softer. The weight of the day drifts away. You are as a child again, resting in safety, resting in her unseen arms. Mary's devotion has always been tied to prayer, the rosary whispers. The Ave Maria drifts like wind through trees. These prayers are not loud. They are not meant to stir the mind. They are meant to quiet it, to rock it gently, like the sea rocking a boat. The words flow like tides, repeating, returning, until the heart falls into rhythm. Until peace is found, some say she weeps with the sorrowful. Her tears fall with theirs, becoming rain that waters the earth. Others say she smiles with the joyful, her face radiant as spring blossoms. But always she listens. Always she leans near to hear, for the gentle mother turns no one away. Let your thoughts now drift. Imagine the blue mantle of Mary spread across the night sky. It stretches wide, covering the world, soft as velvet, bright with stars. You rest beneath it, safe, cradled in her love. Each star is a prayer answered. Each star is a soul remembered. Each star is a light of comfort shining through the darkness. Now the night grows deeper. The candle flame sinks lower. The stars above are steady, and Mary's presence remains. She does not leave. She does not sleep. She holds her children always. Her whisper comes soft as a lullaby. Rest, child. You are safe beneath the sky. You are held in my mantle. The night is kind. The stars will keep watch. Sleep now, in peace. And so you drift, breath by breath, like a prayer bead slipping through quiet fingers. Each breath carries you further into rest. Each moment draws you deeper into stillness. The gentle mother watches. The stars shine, and the night is soft. Now rest as the stars return and the candlelight fades. Rest beneath the mantle of Mary, the gentle mother. The night is deep. The stars gather like silver grains scattered by a gentle hand. The earth is quiet, holding its breath in the dark. A soft wind stirs the branches, moving leaves in slow rhythms, like lullabies whispered from one age to another. Here, at the close of our journey, we come to the circle, an unbroken thread woven from the voices of many lands, many hearts, many mothers. It is the circle of the goddess, timeless, endless, tender as water, steady as stone. Long before temples were raised in marble, before books carried sacred words, the circle was known. It was carved in spirals on stone, painted in ochre on cave walls, traced by fingers in sand. The circle spoke of life. It had no beginning, no end. It mirrored the moon, round and luminous in the night. It echoed the sun, rising and setting only to rise again. The circle was birth. The circle was death. The circle was return. And within it, the goddess dwelled. She was the Lady of the Lake, lifting her hand from waters of mystery. She was Pachamama of the Andes, breathing life into fields and rivers. She was Sophia, a whisper of wisdom in the silence of seekers. She was the serpent goddess of Crete, holding coils of eternity in her hands. She was Amaterasu, the sun radiant, withdrawing and returning in the dance of light. She was Yamaya, her waves cradling the shore, her tides singing lullabies to the world. She was Mary, the gentle mother, mantle wide enough to shelter all. Each story, each name, a petal of the same flower. Each vision, a bead in the same rosary of eternity. All weaving back into the circle? Close your eyes. Imagine the circle before you. It glows faintly, drawn in moonlight upon the ground. It widens until you are inside it. The air shifts. The silence deepens. You are safe, held in a ring that cannot be broken. The circle holds the memory of ages. It remembers the first hearth fires. It remembers the songs sung by rivers. It remembers footsteps of those who prayed in caves and fields, on mountaintops and quiet shores. It remembers every whisper of devotion, and the goddess eternal and tender is present within it. Not as one figure only, but as all faces at once. She is the lake, the star, the mountain, the sea. She is the womb and the tomb, the beginning and the return. Think of the seasons. Spring blossoms like a child's smile. Summer glows with warmth and ripening. Autumn falls into rest, its leaves drifting downward like soft sighs. Winter sleeps in stillness, waiting for the light to come again. This cycle is the circle. The goddess breathes within it. Her touch is in every petal, every grain, every flake of snow. Nothing is lost. All returns, all continues. In ancient villages, women traced spirals on clay pots. They carved circles into stone. They wove rings into their weaving. They knew the circle was not only shape, but truth. The goddess was the circle, and they belonged to her. When children were born, she was there. When harvests were gathered, she was there. When lives ended, she was there. Always with open arms. Always guiding the way back. The circle is also the sky. The moon rises, full and round. It wanes, then returns again. Each phase a reminder that endings are not final, only doors to new beginnings. The sun, too, follows the circle. It travels the horizon, bringing day, bringing night, always returning. Its light falls on temples and meadows, on oceans and deserts, reminding all who see it that the circle endures. In your mind, picture the circle as a wheel. It turns slowly. You drift with it without fear. You're carried on its rim, yet always close to its center. The wheel moves, but the heart remains still. At the center is the goddess. Her voice is soft like water on stone. She whispers, all returns. All is held. All is loved. Her words flow not into thought, but into rest. They are not commands, but comfort. They rock the soul like a cradle in the night. The eternal circle is not only vast. It is near. It is found in the eye, round and full of light. It is found in the hand, curved as it holds another hand. It is found in the embrace, in the ring of arms around a child. It is found in the heartbeat, beating in steady rhythm, never ceasing, never breaking. And within each circle, the goddess rests. She is present wherever the circle closes. Legends say her dance is spiral. Her feet move in patterns that seem endless. She turns and turns, drawing all beings into her rhythm. In her dance, the stars are spun into the heavens. The rivers curve across the land. The winds swirl in soft whirls. All creation moves with her, turning in the eternal circle. And yet, though the dance is vast, her gaze is tender. She looks upon each soul, each life, with care. None are lost in the circle. All are known. Now imagine the circle above you. It glows like a halo in the night sky. Stars form its rim. The moon rests within it. It is wide enough to hold the earth. It is wide enough to hold you. You lie within its center, quiet, safe. Around you the stories swirl. The Lady of the Lake, Pachamama, Sophia, the serpent goddess, Amaterasu, Yamaya, Mary. Each one a thread, woven into the whole. Each one a voice, humming the same song. The song is gentle. It moves like the tide. It carries you, not forward or back, but inward, toward peace. And so, the journey closes. Yet it does not end. It simply returns to where it began. Back to the circle. Back to the goddess. Back to the tender heart of love that holds all stories, all souls, all time. The circle is whole. The circle is endless. The circle is eternal. Now let your breath follow the circle. Inhale, a rising arc. Exhale, a gentle return. Again and again, like the moon, like the tide, like the seasons. You drift deeper into the rhythm. Your body softens. Your mind unwinds. You are carried in the eternal circle. The goddess is near. Her arms are wide. Her love is endless. She whispers in the silence, rest, child. The circle holds you. The night is kind. The stars will keep watch. Sleep now within eternity. And so, you drift onward, safe, cradled, unbroken. The eternal circle closes softly around you, a ring of peace, a crown of light. Now rest. As the stars return and the goddess watches, in silence, in love forever,